If there's one thing us metalheads love doing, it's bickering over bands and arguing over whose musical preference is superior. And that is exactly what we're gonna do here today. Because I recently reposted this meme from Metal Hammer asking people which metal opinions of theirs would make an angry mob of headbangers want to rip them to shreds. Because it's not metal to have different opinions. And people left a lot of good comments, so I thought it'd be fun to go over in this video called Heavy Metal Hot Takes. I'm gonna read and respond to the spiciest takes from you guys, and then I will give my own answer at the end of this video. And remember, if someone here says an opinion you disagree with, then you should post an unhinged, misspelled, grammatically incorrect comment about it down in the comments below. So headbang the like button, stage dive on the subscribe button, and windmill the video to your friends. And if you're a fan of the channel, consider becoming a member. Memberships only cost 99 cents a month, and each one really helps me toward my lifelong goal of creating a life-size Godzilla to invade Canada. And now let's go over heavy metal hot takes. First one from the Green Goof says, I think Sleep Token the Gen Z mushroom head. I think that is insulting to Mushroomhead. Next one says, I think Lorna Shore sounds like a dying giraffe screaming into a metal oscillating fan set on high. That is a very descriptive comparison. Next one says, Saint Anger is a pretty overhated album and not Metallica's worst. I mean, I don't know if it's overhated. I remember hearing the song Saint Anger for the first time and everyone told me how shit it was. And the very beginning when it drums and it starts off, first 10 seconds aren't bad. And I was like, what? Why were people saying this sucked? And then it kept going and I was like, oh. Overhated? I'm gonna disagree. Not Metallica's worst? Quite possible, because they did make Lulu. Next one says, Dio was a better singer than Ozzy. Is there anyone on the planet who would disagree with that? I think Ozzy was the voice of Black Sabbath. I think Ozzy was great at what he did. But if we're talking talent and skill comparatively, Dio hands down, of course. That's not to say whether I like Dio more than Ozzy or if I like Ozzy more than Dio. That's just saying if we were looking at them on a chart like a video game next to each other, Dio's stats would be higher. Next one says, people should focus more on the lyrics than the sound, understanding fully the message and intent. Also, My Chemical Romance isn't good in my opinion. Oh, that second one you are correct. The first one, that is an interesting thing to bring up. I get the point you're trying to make. The song is so much more powerful and meaningful when you fully understand the lyrics and the context and can imply its meaning to yourself. But I don't think it's the be-all end-all. I listen to plenty of bands that don't sing in English and I still love their songs. But it is true that they tend not to hit me on like an emotional level that's something I can understand would. But also to play devil's advocate here, some metal bands have really fucking stupid lyrics. There's some songs I listen to that musically sound great and get me pumped up, but if I was reading the lyrics I would be like, this was written by a 5-year-old. So I'd say that I understand your point, but I don't agree that one should focus on the lyrics more than the music. I would say equally so. Next one says, Black Veil Bride's music is decently alright. No. Next one, Ozzy's solo work was nowhere near as good as Sabbath. Ooh, that's a hot take. For me, I do like Sabbath's music more. Ozzy's solo music can be fun. Some of the ballads can be really powerful. But for me, Sabbath just always grabbed me a lot more than Ozzy solo did. I guess the question would be what era of Sabbath. Next one says, new metal wasn't that bad. I think we have finally reached the point in the world where we can all admit that we liked new metal. Everyone was hating on it at first and being like, oh, I'm so cool and badass, I don't listen to that shit. And then their friends would go home, and they'd go in their room, and they'd put on their Walkman and put on Limp Bizkit while they had a Cannibal Corpse logo taped to their Walkman so no one could tell. You know, it's funny that I dislike probably 90% of new metal bands that existed. Love Limp Bizkit, don't care what anyone says, fantastic band. But I do really love the sound of new metal. A lot of the times the actual instruments sound great to me, but then the vocals and the lyrics will kind of just ruin it. Yes, I am talking about Korn. Next one, I've always thought Mastodon were a shit band and I never understood how or why they got as big as they are. I definitely don't think they're a shit band in any way. They're not a band that I listen to. I'm not a fan of them, but I don't hate on them either. It's like I respect what they do musically, and I've also seen them live maybe twice while they're playing with other bands. Most of it doesn't do it for me, just the trippiness of it. Not my style. But I definitely would not say that they're a shit band. We just talked about Black Veil Brides. I mean, come on. Next one, Limp Bizkit has unironic bangers. You're fucking goddamn right they do. On this channel, we praise Bizkit and honor the Durst. Here's a good one to get people fighting. Don't know the band? Don't wear the shirt. Now, I'm not the type of person who would pull the name 3 songs move, but I do find it extremely strange why someone would want to wear a shirt of a band that they don't know of at all. I mean, you can, but it's just Weird. Would you wear a jersey of a sports team if you had no fucking clue who they are? Probably not, and that's all it really comes down to me. I wouldn't harass or attack someone if someone is wearing a shirt of a band they had literally no idea who they were, but it does not make sense to me. Next one, System of a Down should never make another album. Go out on top. You know who agrees with that the most? Serj. He is very happy to cash in on songs he wrote 20 years ago. Ooh, finally a good one. Heavy metal culture is not as tolerant as they claim to be. 1000% accurate. Don't believe me? Read the comment sections under any metal video. Heavy metal culture is actually very tolerant if all of those people have the exact same opinions and don't express anything different at any point. You also cannot offend anyone. You can listen to death metal that has songs about burning down churches, ripping priests' guts out, chainsawing babies in half, but you better make sure you don't offend anybody. Next one says, I think politics and metal are a perfect blend, moreover, as a yin-yang to country. Now, do you think that for bands that say political opinions that you disagree with? If a band expresses political opinions that aren't yours, is it still a perfect blend? Or is it suddenly problematic? Next one says, Motorhead is the most overrated band of all time. Get the fuck out of here.
Move this man!
Next one, I'm tired of growling / screaming to be considered actual singing. Same answer, get the fuck out of here.
Move this man!
Here's a hot take. Death metal and black metal I don't consider music. Every time I hear it, it turns into white noise as everything is so fast and abrupt a lot of the time that it's hard for my ears to classify it as a note. I personally prefer metal with vocal melodies, especially metal can be great when a singer can scream, not through the whole song, but can sing and scream where needs be. Thinking of stuff like Waking the Fallen, point your pitchforks right now. I will, sir, because I completely disagree with everything you just said. Extreme metal does take a trained ear. I do still remember the very first time I ever heard stuff like Behemoth. It sounded like a washing machine with bricks in it. But if you listen to it more and really digest it, then you do develop the ear for it, where you can hear all the technicalities. For what you said, you prefer singers who can scream sometimes but mostly sing. Everyone has their personal opinions. I'd fucking hate that shit. The easiest, most immediate way for me to turn a new band off is if they go from screaming to whiny singing. I am angry, and now I'm gonna cry. No, fucking off. Don't care how talented anyone in the band is. Get the fuck out of here immediately. Here's a good hot take. Anything positive about any of Ronnie Radke's acts? Yes, as we have learned on this channel, if you say anything even slightly positive about Ronnie Radke, it will cause many chronically online idiots to leave comments saying how they're unsubscribing, and then they'll watch the next video and comment the same thing. Next hot take. Sleep Token and Ghost aren't saving metal, but harming it with the new waves of fans that only prefer softer metal bands that most metalheads laugh at. That is definitely a hot take. Because as it came out recently in some report, bands like them and a few others are making metal sell larger than it ever has, apparently. But you are right that I feel like a lot of metal fans laugh at those bands or are not interested in them, especially Sleep Token. I don't know about harming metal, because it's kind of the same thing of saying that new metal was harming metal, which it is a new subgenre, and I have been saying that I feel like these bands like Sleep Token, Spiritbox, Falling in Reverse, all these big ones, shouldn't really be considered metal bands. They should be considered something like hard alternative, like a cousin to metal, because a lot of the times their music doesn't have metal. Straight up. Not in terms of like, oh, that riff was super weak. I mean, they have a lot of moments that are not metal. They have metal sprinklings on top, which is fine, but I feel like it should be a new separate subgenre. Next one, Falling in Reverse is overhated. Love both their old songs and the new ones. You are definitely correct that they're overhated. I like a good amount of their new songs as they've went heavier. I do not like the emo stuff, but that is just me. Next hot take, new Pantera is not Pantera. Without Diamond Vinny, they are a cover band. Is that a hot take? I think that's just a fact. I understand why fans would still want to see them now and feel like they're paying tribute to Vinny and Dime. But is it not weird and kind of gross that this big tribute didn't happen until Vinny died and he was vehemently against it throughout his life? I don't know. Kind of weird. I have seen the new Pantera and I thought it was really good. Next comment, Inquisition is just We Have Immortal at Home, and Living Color, Suffocation, God Forbid, and Hyrax are true black metal. I see what you did there. Next comment, Crazy Train has some of the dumbest lyrics in rock history. It sounds like a hippie speech on marijuana. The instrumental, however, is phenomenal. Sir, as I said earlier, Have you read the lyrics to most metal songs? They range anywhere from interesting philosophy that can challenge Socrates, all the way to written with lipstick on the bathroom wall. Next comment, Avenged Sevenfold helped bring back metal to the mainstream. I agree, it is their fault. Next comment, Baby Metal is a solid, talented, unique, and badass band. Ghost is a metal band. Well, for what you said about Baby Metal, the people who perform in it, sure, are talented, and they're definitely unique. They're also entirely a corporate product. If you want to talk about industry plants, they are literally an industry plant. You can still like them. It doesn't mean that they're not fun, but that's what they are, and I do find it weird, honestly. In a scene that's all about staying true and not selling out, and then embracing this band that was artificially put together to be a big hit. But, I mean, you listen to it, it's fine. I'm not hating on the girls at all. Next one. In Nightwish, Tarja was the worst of the 3 lead singers. Annette Olsen and Floor Jansen are both better than her. Also, all the prima donna behavior and drama that both Tarja and her husband caused meant she deserved to be kicked out of the band. Once again, extremely hard disagree. I actually like several songs that Annette did with Nightwish, but she is very, very easily the worst of the 3. She could not do many of the classic songs. Floor is actually my favorite one because I feel like she can handle all of the songs perfectly. But Annette was straight up in the wrong band. As good as some of her songs are, I really love The Poet and the Pendulum, but for the whole prima donna behavior with Tarja, I've actually heard that a lot of that was bullshit. I heard that the band really did not like her husband, and that ended up being the reason why she was fired from the band. But hey, I don't know, I was not there. Next hot take, I prefer steel over iron. Copper all day, bitch. Next hot take, death metal all sounds the same. Anyone who can tell 2 Cannibal Corpse songs apart either has super hearing or is lying. I remember my first death metal song. Next one, Sleep Token is not a metal band. Not because I hate them or I'm being gatekeepy, but because metal is only a small part of their sound. I completely agree. That's what I was saying earlier. If only 1/4 of your song has metal in it, then you are not a metal band. You have features of metal in your music. If Kelly Clarkson suddenly pulls out a guitar and starts riffing Rain and Blood, she's not now a metal band. Next hot take, modern metal sounds overproduced and obnoxious. I largely agree. A lot of metal coming out these days just sounds like it has no soul, no heart to it, no emotion. It just came out of a computer processor. It might be heavy, it might be fun, but it doesn't cut any deeper than that. Next hot take, some female vocalists get too much praise just because they are women. It's easy to feel like you're better than you actually are when you get a couple stands. Also, a substantial amount of the female vocalists just focus on the image too much to the detriment of actually putting the work to perfect their vocal instrument and skills in general. I would definitely agree with that comment. There's some very incredible women in bands, and there are also some that were definitely propped up for the image to try to get horny stands to support them. I feel like you can usually tell though. Most female vocalists that are really average and don't practice much all kind of sound similarly. Like they're trying. They may have a nice voice, but they just don't really know how to master it yet. But interestingly for me, a lot of the top vocalists that really inspired me to want to learn how to do it were actually women. And I feel like when they put the work in and really study to master it, then women can become some of the best at being really professional with it on how to manage their voice. Floor Jansen is a fantastic example of this. So yeah, I would definitely agree. There's a mix though. It's like half the women you see on stage do it because they love the music and they're musicians, and the other half do it for looks and to get stands. Next hot take, aluminum is a perfectly fine alternative to steel for truck beds. Next hot take, there are Christian metal bands out there that are just as good as secular bands, if not better. Are there metal bands that have Christians in them that make some songs about it that are very good? Absolutely. I do feel like any band that would label themselves straight up as Christian metal band just comes off hokey as fuck to me. But I do think that Christian and Catholic mythology offers a lot that can be used for metal in a lot of interesting ways. But I think there's a difference in doing something like Powerwolf than doing something like a Stryper cover band at your local church. Next hot take, the vocalist of Dark Insanity wears a cap to conceal the fact that he consists of 14 chipmunks in a human suit. Facts. Next hot take, this person left 2, but I'm gonna read the first one. Metal has gatekeepers because it attracts people who feel like genuine outcasts and didn't want something that gave them comfort to be used for other means, like pushing an ideology. It's like the gaming space and the like. There's obviously people who don't care about subculture they're invading and just want to change it to fit their wants and shame others for not wanting to go along with it. You are 100% correct, and anyone who says otherwise is the exact person you're talking about. I do love that metal is very open and accepting to all different types of people who love it for what it is, no matter their religion or their race or where they were born. But I do think that comes with the caveat of they have to actually like metal for what it is. So yeah, some level of gatekeeping is important. I mean, imagine what would have happened if Machine Gun Kelly hadn't been shamed out of rock music. Next hot take, the stereotype of the airhead loser metalhead has quite a bit of validity. I mean, you're not wrong. Next hot take, Slaughter to Prevail is overhated. I 1000% agree with that comment. I don't even listen to that band like that. I saw them live once at Milwaukee Metal Fest. I thought they were good. They are not a band I listen to on my own at home, but I do not think they're anywhere near the worst bands that are out right now. Not even fucking close. The majority of the hatred thrown at that band is because of Alex Terrible. It has nothing to do with their music, which is something that I find super strange. People hate Alex Terrible because he's an overly masculine maniac who happens to not have always been a perfect person. People will say that Slaughter to Prevail's music sucks because they think that Alex Terrible is a neo-Nazi because he used to have a black sun tattoo that he got covered up and explained was a stupid decision when he was younger. Then all those people hate him and label him a Nazi forever, and then they'll go listen to Ozzy Osbourne, who was inspired by Hitler, and they'll go listen to Motorhead, where Lemmy had a Nazi collection, and they'll go listen to Slayer, who had a lot of Nazi imagery. They'll be like, yeah, Alex Terrible is a neo-Nazi, fuck that guy. Angel of Death! Also, really weirdly enough, a lot of people hate on Alex Terrible and Slaughter to Prevail because they are Russian. Even though they are against the war, never expressed any support for the war, never expressed any support for Putin, moved out of Russia as the war was starting, some terminally online idiots still label them as Russian propaganda. Does that count as racist? If you hate Russians, is that racist or is that Russianist? I don't know. And you know, that's actually a good segue into my answer to this question. My heavy metal hot take for you is this. Too many metal fans use performative selective outrage to act like thought police against artists they dislike, holding on to disproven rumors or past grievances that have since been rectified to slander and defame artists who have expressed any opinions or humor they don't agree with, acting just like the old religious protesters in the 80s telling people that Ozzy eats cats. It is very, very weird to me how many supposed metal fans out there will automatically hate a controversial artist without doing any research into him at all, or even just that they care in the first fucking place. I listen to a lot of metal bands from all different genres from all across the world. I doubt that even half of them have all of the same political opinions of me. I doubt that they all have my sense of humor. Some of them probably hate people that I don't hate. Some of them probably have really fucking stupid opinions about things that I would not want to engage in conversation with. But metal is a genre that has always preached about individuality, being true to yourself, not taking shit from anyone, being offensive, and standing by your own beliefs. As we were just saying, the people running around screaming, "Oh my god, Alex Terrible is the neo-Nazi." You are the old religious moms in the 80s standing outside telling people that Ozzy Osbourne literally eats cats. You are the same people. Especially when it comes to rumors and things that are not true and have been proven to be not true and are very easy to look up, but people still run with their theories of like, no, I decided they're bad, so they're bad. How very metal of you. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you ever think to yourself, metal is for people who think like me, you're wrong. Shut up. Metal is for everyone, no matter what their personal or political beliefs are. I guarantee you, bands that you listen to have members that you would not like if you met them in person. And if you're gonna write off any artist who ever did anything bad or controversial, say goodbye to 99% of your music from the last several decades. When I was growing up and getting into metal, any artist that was deemed controversial, metalheads would look at and be like, ah, cool. Now any artist that's deemed controversial, metalheads will look at and go, oh my god, no. Which I think is lame. But anyway, that is all the heavy metal hot takes for this video. What did you think of these opinions? What are some of your hottest heavy metal takes? Let me know in the comments below. For more from me, check out my band Dark Insanity. You can find us on Instagram, on Spotify, on all of the streaming platforms, on Bandcamp as well. We have our EP Rabid Psychosis out now. This October, we are playing with Carnivore AD at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, October 16th. Tickets are $25, so hit me or the band up if you'd like one. We've got Wyatt's Metal and Dark Insanity merch available now in my shop. We've also got hoodies, hats, buttons, stickers. We even have Dark Insanity weed bags. Link is in the description of this video. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.